Hey guys, so I just wanted to do a quick demo on coping and when you'd want to use coping and why. So a lot of times when you're dealing with old construction and even new construction, hardly anything is ever square. And if it's not square, when you cut that miter, it's either going to be open in the front here or in the back because it's not a perfect 90, and when you make a perfect 90 and put it against the wall, something's going to be open. So what I like to do in this case is cope it. And to cope it, you're going to cut it. You're going to cut the same. You're going to leave one board straight on one end, and then the chasing board, you're going to cut the same angle, the same 45 degree in the same direction that you would if you were actually mitering it. And then you're going to cope it from there. So let's bring this up to the saw and do it. Okay, we have our board over at the miter saw. We're going to move our miter down to 45 degrees. Lock it in, slide over, and make our cut. Okay, so now what we want to do is we're going to take a coping saw, usually, but I'm going to use a jigsaw in this video, and we're going to follow where the raw wood meets the paint. We're going to follow this line all the way around, and we're going to cut it, and we're going to back cut it at something like this, like a 20-degree angle or so. This way, none of this meat of the board interferes with the existing baseboard when you push it together, and it will make more sense once I do it and show you. So let's get to coping. Okay, so now I have my workpiece clamped to my bench. I put a scrolling blade in my jigsaw, and we're going to follow this line now, and instead of cutting it square, we're going to cut at like a 20-degree angle, a 15-degree angle, somewhere in that range should be fine. So here we go. Okay, so now that I made that straight cut, I want to get this out of my way so that I can work with just the scroll. So I'm just going to come up. And remove that piece. Alright, let's change the angle here. Okay, so I made my little cut there, and now I'm going to come around the other way. Okay, there we go. Let me just clean this up a little bit. Okay. There we have it. Let's go see how it fits. Okay, let's see how we did. Okay, looking pretty good. Last thing to do is just caulk along the top and you're all done. Okay, now the reason I prefer to use the jigsaw over the coping saw, and this happens to be a smaller base molding, but on larger base moldings, cutting this straight line with the coping saw can be a little tricky sometimes because, you know, it's hard to keep your arm straight, especially depending on what kind of wood it is. Like if it's a decent hardwood molding, a poplar or something, or an oak. Not that poplar's that hard, but it's harder than pine. But if you were doing an oak molding or something like that, it's hard to do this straight line sometimes without a lot of practice. And also I find I don't have to clamp my workpiece down as much with the jigsaw. The jigsaw just moves through it a lot smoother. So I can usually just get away with using one clamp with the jigsaw and just power my way through the cut. So that's some of the reasons why I like using the jigsaw over the coping saw. Give it a shot.